Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. A shorty, but a goodie for everybody today. At least I think so. Today, we are going to talk about what's the best MLB The Show team right now on paper. Understanding the caveat here that this will change every content drop, hopefully. We're couching it this week as going into the next Team Affinity that comes out on Friday, which is probably going to do some dastardly things to this game. Let's take stock of where we're at. I think that's a fun practice. So let's do it. Thank you guys for being here, of course, for another week. A quick note on this team. I don't have the 99 versions of a couple players on this team, so I just put their placeholders in. I also didn't bother with the bench because I do truly feel as if bench construction should be player specific, as in you specific, player of game specific, based on how you play, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, how you like to manage late in games. The bench is where you can put your personal spin on a lot of this stuff. I also think it is exceptionally important to say, crucially important to say, and that's why we're going to say it up front. While there is an on-paper best team, much of it is based on opinion, and you don't need any of these cards to be good at this game. Use whichever cards, A, you can obtain, B, you can afford, or C, you're good with. If my least favorite swing in the game is Pudge Rodriguez, it's up there. But he's your favorite swing, and you hit 400 with him. F what I say, use him anyway. I will never get on you for using somebody a little weird. I may offer another option, but not because I think you're a dummy, but because I have experience with the other guy, and that's how ideas are traded. So, let's start. You're going to notice a predominant theme here. It's a theme I hate, but it's a theme that is the nature of the beast because of PCI shrinkage. There are a lot of switch hitters, and you could argue there would be or should be more. I think Ted Williams is the de facto best left fielder in the game. But because he's not a switch hitter, not a soul would fault you for using Willie Castro out there. I think that's lunacy myself, personally. But Ted is there. And then, again, without debate, though people on the internet insist on debating this, Carlos Beltran is the best center fielder in the game. He is. People will say he's mid. I think those people are high. I don't understand. I don't get it. Beltran, as a center fielder, as a 5 tool, with the vision, with the clutch, with the fielding, with the speed, contact, his power is great. He is the best center fielder in the game. The only debate I'll hear. Where is he? Did I go past him? Hold on. The heck is he? Oh. The only debate I'll hear is for Ken Griffey Jr., who is equally as 5-tool, except not a switch hitter. I also think Beltran, this is, you guys gotta cremate me in the comments. I think Beltran's swing, for me, is better than Ken Griffey Jr. In 17 at-bats, I'm hitting 176 online with Ken Griffey Jr. Skill issue? Maybe. But in 580 at-bats with Carlos Beltran, I'm hitting 364. So, there you go. I think Beltran is a must-have in the outfield. Now, right field is where we're going to get a little unique here. As you can see, I mostly stuck to primary positions. I think 99 Babe Ruth, for a lot of folks, is the most popular right fielder in the game. Of course, he's 300,000 stubs, so he's hard to get. A lot of options here. You can have Acuna out there. He's very good. I personally think Jose Bautista is better. I use Jose Bautista. He's my guy, but I'm trying to keep my opinion out of it, and I'm trying to think of what the community's thinking. There are other options. You could put Beltran in right and Griffey in center, and now we've solved both of the problems between who's better of Griffey and Beltran. Lots of options here. I personally think based on the swing handicap and how good Babe Ruth's swing is, he is probably the best right fielder, or at least the most popular right fielder in the game. I'm also going by currently a lot of what I'm seeing in the Weekend Classic, a lot of what I'm experiencing as a Gold 2 rated high Hall of Fame player. I'm not a Legend player. I'm not claiming to be. I play at a division I find tolerable, but a competitive division with good players. So that's what I'm seeing. Third base. George Brett is the best third baseman in the game. You look at his swing, his contacts, his power, his glove, enough speed, he's great. A lot of people, and I don't have him yet, so I'm going to use his placeholder, are going to start using Chase Headley as a switch hitter because he's a switch hitter. You can also run Willie Castro there. But I think if you're being honest with yourself, George Brett's the best third baseman. You know who's close? This Wade Boggs. Maybe not as close as it appears, I suppose, based on what I'm looking at now in front of me with all the green check marks, but I do have George Brett P5. Either way, George Brett is the best. Chase Headley might become the most popular. J-Ram certainly in that conversation. Without a shadow of a doubt. Shred of a doubt? Without a doubt. J-Ram is in that conversation. I, for some reason, have not been comfortable with J-Ram this year. 317 in 63 at-bats for me is not awesome. I think his hair still makes the game all messed up, even though they said they fixed it. This David Wright also is exceptional, but he's a righty. George Brett's a lefty. People like switch hitters, so that's really what it comes down to. Another person I'm seeing a lot of, by the way, is Carlos Correa. Seeing a lot of Carlos Correa. Third base is actually a pretty deep position. But I do think, especially as your difficulties are going up, you're going to be wanting people with higher contact, higher vision. That's George Brett. If you're an all-star player, and there's nothing wrong with that, you likely don't care as much about the high contact numbers or the high vision numbers. You're looking for power because the PCI is already so damn big anyway, and that's okay. I guess I should caveat it as saying I'm talking about this on higher levels, but I think there's a lot of crossover. Jimmy Rollins is the best shortstop in the game. Willie Castro, again, an option there because he plays everywhere. Correa, I suppose, also an option there. I've seen a lot of Willie Adames lately. And every time I pitch to him, I get crushed. This guy kills me. Maybe I don't know how to pitch to Willie Adames. He is certainly in the conversation. His hitting attributes are great. He is perfect against lefties, as we could tell. But he ain't a switch hitter, and that's what everybody likes to use. The best second baseman in the game was kind of tough for me to pin down. I do truly, on paper, think it's still all-star Ketel Marte. Clearly, I don't have him. But there are options here. A lot of people are liking Chase Utley. He doesn't wow you in any category, but he's probably the most balanced. Willie Castro, again, you're going to see him a lot in this conversation. He's everywhere. Some people still running Junior Caminero at second base. Personally, he's my favorite bench bat. Personally, but that's not what we're talking about today. Another option is to play Biz Mackey at second base. He's my second baseman. We'll get to him in a second. At first base, the entire world, when I play them, is running Ted Simmons at first base. The entire population of Earth is running Ted Simmons. I cannot hit with this Ted Simmons. I hit great with the first Ted Simmons that came out. So I was amped for this card, and then I just couldn't get it going. Maybe he needs more run time, but clearly I've given him 36 at-bats and he still stinks. There's another guy I can't pitch to. Ted Simmons seems to be the go-to first baseman, especially because he's a switch hitter. You guys who follow the channel know me. I'm running Pete Alonso at first base. That took a second there. Delay. He has one of my 5 favorite swings in the game. Wade Boggs entering that conversation as well. But Pete Alonso is my favorite. My favorite. Doesn't mean he's the best. I'm kind of struggling with him, actually. But he is my favorite right now. I'm hoping first base gets a little injection of life in this Friday content update. Gil Hodges, though, is also admittedly still a top 2 to 3 first baseman in the game. Like, if we're being honest, I just kind of got bored of him. He, on paper, is actually better than Ted Simmons. But because Ted Simmons is a switch hitter, that's who we're going with here. Cal Raleigh, when he dropped, we were like, oh my God, they'll never create another better catcher. And then they did. And his name is Biz Mackey. Switch hitter. Enough power to get by. Max clutch. Literally perfect fielding. Out of box. Stock. Perfect fielding. And he has pop time. In a world where you can DH Cal Raleigh and not have to worry about his defense, Biz Mackey is the best catcher. And then Cal Raleigh is second or third. I kind of like Posada more than Cal. I think Posada's swing is better. But that's a swing preference thing, not a card preference thing. I still think Schwarber is actually the best true DH. But he's a lefty. People don't like hitting lefty-lefty. And I'm trying to take this lens of what the common player would do if given all the keys, all the cards. What would they do? And I think this is kind of the lineup they'd make. Now, for reference, we will do the pitching as well, but for reference, this is my main lineup. It's very similar to the other one. I have Ted, Beltran, Jose Bautista, Alonso, Mackey at second, Rollins, Brett, Schwarber, and Posada. These are guys who are very meta, but also guys I'm very comfortable with. Switches, I don't mind hitting lefty-lefty. I'd prefer not to, but I don't mind it, so I'm not a crazy platoon guy until late in the game. Having switch hitters are important. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 switch hitters. I have literally faced lineups of the Weekend Classic with 7 to 9 switch hitters. So I tried to create what I thought was the lineup people would most want to have. This lineup features 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 switch hitters and 3 lefty bats. Not a single straight-up righty. Again, there are conversations to be had at certain positions. Carlos Correa at third. We talked about that. Batista or Willie Castro. Willie Castro probably should be somewhere in this mix, if I'm being honest. So let's make an addendum here. Let's put Willie Castro at third. Because Willie Castro is in everybody's lineups. Let's make that addendum there. But it underscores the love affair with switch hitters. I personally think, I'm trying to phrase this the right way. There's a lot of layers to this. You cannot limit the number of switch hitters in a lineup. You just can't. I think it's a crutch. I think people need to have more confidence in themselves. I think you can hit lefty-lefty or righty-righty. But I also think PCI shrinkage is silly. So I understand, every different layer coming out of this. Especially when we get to a point where the 99s are so good that even the switch hitters don't even have a weaker side. Even the platoon matchup that theoretically exists, despite the handed matchup, you don't even have an advantage because everybody's beefy. So that's a calibration problem of the power, or the power of the cards, the power creep. It's a calibration issue. But knowing how this community operates, I truly think this is the most popular lineup right now as of, I'm recording this on August 25th in the evening, so Monday before you're listening to this. Let's go to the pitchers. Want to say this in terms of pitchers. Pitching, for me, is a very feel-based thing. You might not use all of the top-tier pitchers because you simply don't like them. For example, Kershaw is probably a top 8 pitcher in the game. I don't feel comfortable using him, so I don't. That's simple. But the best pitchers in the game right now are some combination of Randy Johnson, Clayton Kershaw. I truly think Corbin Burns, because he has an outlier sinker that makes him, a step above a typical Corbin Burns. Roger Clemens, though he's beginning to phase out. And Corey Kluber, though plethora of options here. Edward Cabrera stinks. You'll see that later this week. Verlander's in that conversation. Savali, if you play on Legend, very much in that conversation. Sleeper pick. If you play on Legend, give him a try. Santana's good. I think Pettit's pretty good. I wish he had a changeup. One of the best Legend pitchers in the game, if we're being completely honest. Where is he? So many cards have come out. Holy crap. Is Al Leiter? As a 95, he's one of the best Legend pitchers in the game. Pitching is very difficulty-based. It's feel-based. This is just who are the 5 pitchers that wow me based on what they look like. I think it's a lot easier to determine the best hitting cards than it is the best pitching cards. within reason. Like, obviously, Randy Johnson's the best pitcher in the game. Obviously. When John Donaldson comes out, he'll be the best pitcher in the game. Or top 2. But these are, I think, like the 5 like popular community picks for best pitchers in the game. And then we go to the bullpen, which is the most feel-based thing on earth. It is. I swap out relievers constantly. If I have a bad game with them or I think I'm not feeling it, I swap them out. Billy Wagner, Danny Kaloum are definitely 2 of the best lefties. I think Miller's the 3rd. I personally carry 3 lefties in my bullpen, which is why I only have 3 here. Other options, and we've talked about this before, Soto's pretty good. Davis, I think, is worth a shot, though I'm not super confident. Chapman, I think he's more hittable than he's ever been, but he's in there. Adrian Morejon, he's in there for sure. We need lefties to get a boost. We need some better lefties, hopefully on Friday. And then righties, I have Hurston Waldrep in here just because of his stamina and his pitch mix. He might not be for everybody, but I think he is an invaluable member of bullpens, especially when you're playing the Weekend Classic and, like, you might be more prone to make a quick hook on a pitcher, a starter. This guy can come in any couple innings. Darren O'Day for sure. Duran, Gossage, and someone like Tyler Rogers, who's funky. I am in a weird place with my bullpen right now. I'm really only confident in like 3 guys in it. I think bullpens are in a weird spot. I think they need more love. I think they need something. They need some juice. Hopefully on Friday, again, I'm banking on getting some stuff from Friday's content drop. Really hope so. But this video, again, was less about the pitching. Pitching's feel-based. Pitching is difficulty-based. I'm talking hitting here. I think this, again, with the upgraded versions of Ketel and Babe Ruth, is probably the most popular / best meta lineup in the game. I went through all the 99s that are in the game currently. Made sure I didn't miss anybody of significance. Obviously, Babe Ruth. We talked about that. You know, Chase Headley, we mentioned him. David Ortiz is just whatever. Eli Willits has been phased out. His swing is also bad. McGuire and Hayward are nobodies in this case. Leo DeVries, he's in that second base conversation. He is. I think Ketel is built better, but DeVries is in that conversation, absolutely. He might even be in your shortstop conversation, though I do think J. Roll is better. Ketel we talked about, and we had put the placeholder in. Jackie Robinson, he's in the second base conversation, is a very good card. I think people, again, are just going to opt for a switch hitter as opposed to Jackie's swing. Jackie's swing is kind of controversial. Depends on if you like it or not. Bernie, we could talk about him in the outfield. Maybe you're playing him in center and Beltran in right. I do think of the trio, Griffey, Beltran, Bernie. I think the ranking is Beltran, Griffey, Bernie. But if you can't hit lefty-lefty, maybe it's Bernie. So, yeah, we could talk about him too. And that's all the 99s as of now. Again, there are going to be swing preference people who come to the comments. 98 Buxton's the best center fielder in the game. No, he isn't. You're electric with him because Byron Buxton is electric. He is not the best center fielder in the game. That's just one extreme example. I've played a lot of people who run this card in center field. It's because his swing is great. And, I mean, listen, he's built well. He is not, categorically, the best center fielder in the game. He cannot field. He has no reaction. He has no arm accuracy. At 80 speed is criminal for a Byron Buxton card. I know this is a home run derby card. We deserve a cycle card of his that will be off the charts. His cycle card might actually be the best center fielder in the game. Until that happens, though, this is the conversation we're having. This Byron Buxton card is not it. In this fantasy world we're living in. If that makes sense. That was kind of word vomit there. This is a viable card. This is a popular card, a fun card, a good card, a good card. It's not Carlos Beltran. So that's where that stops. Same goes for this 98 PCA. You know, 98 Bellinger is a great card as well. He's not in this conversation right now. I'm talking what I think to be the popular pick, the meta popular pick. This is the best lineup in the game right now. Except I'm running this because this is what, for me personally, is my best lineup in the game right now. The moral of the story being, play whoever the fuck you want. That's it. Use whoever the hell you want. Your best card might be my least favorite card. Your favorite swing might be my least favorite swing. You might have a 0 ERA with a 94 overall starter. Don't stop using them. I will encourage everyone until the day I stop playing this game to use whoever the hell they're good with. I don't care what their rating is. I don't care what the player's name is. I don't care what the card art looks like. Switch hitter, lefty, righty, I do not care. If you're incredible with a card, don't let anyone stop you from using that card. This was just a fun little exercise before we get a massive content drop on Friday. So, that's where we'll stop. Thank you guys for making it to the end of this episode. As always, this is going to be a comment-filled episode. I feel it. Leave the comments down below. Ready to talk about it. Ready to have civilized debate. There are a handful of people who keep coming back to my comment section with a real attitude. And they try to talk to us like we're stupid. They're on the verge of being removed from the channel. I can block people whenever I want. So, civil discourse. Let's have nice, fun, civil discourse. This is a video game, after all. It's supposed to be fun. So, that's it. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. See you next time.